crossing the bridge over the river Affric at the start of a walk with Tony Hobbs into Glen Affric and, as planned, hopefully over to Corbett's. But for the moment we're going to walk alongside Loch Affric and find the first camp for the night. Camped in Glen Affric now on a 3-night trip with Tony Hobbs, whose shelter is nearby. It's a very calm evening, very dark evening. There's no stars, the sky is overcast, but we're hoping that there may be some sunshine tomorrow, when the plan is to head up into the hills and have a high camp. But this is a peaceful spot. You can hear the river gurgling not far away. I've had some soup and I'm about to put on a pot of water and make some noodles, and then it'll be time to settle down to sleep for a hopefully reasonably early start tomorrow. It's dark now by 7 in the evening, so no more long evenings, no more walking till 10 o'clock in the light for this year at any rate. It's 8:20 in the morning and the temperature is 4 degrees. It's cloudy, there's condensation on the inside of the tent, and overnight there was a slight frost. At 6:30 the temperature was -1, and it feels a bit damp and chilly now, but I've had my first cup of coffee. Now it's time for breakfast, which this morning is going to be the Wayfarer veggie breakfast, which is quite tasty. It's also, because it's got the liquid in it, quite heavy, so I tend to carry it and eat it the first night, but not after that, because I'd rather carry something lighter weight. It also requires a bit of care when cooking, because you have to heat it up in the pot and keep stirring so that it doesn't stick. And this should prove easier in this new fire maple petrel ramen pot than in the previous petrel pots, which were narrower, so a bit harder to stir food and more prone to sticking at the bottom. But it will still require a low heat and keep stirring. You can eat it out of the packet. I mean, you can eat it cold because the food is cooked. You can eat it out of the packet by putting the packet in boiling water for 7 to 8 minutes to heat it up. But that requires a reasonably sized pot, certainly bigger than this one, and also, of course, a lot more fuel. So I just put it into the pot, keep stirring, and allow that I'll have to clean the pot afterwards, which is no great effort. I don't come out camping to avoid washing up. Now, the stove going to low level. Even this level can hear the food hissing on the bottom before the pot is even on the flame. So let's turn it down a bit more. And as I said, keep stirring. And looking out, there's a bit of brightness in the sky, but it's mostly cloudy. So eat this and then get up and wander around. Oh, Tony is up already. He's just got out of his tent.
Recording.
Yep, I am still recording.
You can practice your editing a voice out now then.
Possibly, we'll see.
I've got my breakfast on.
Well, I think that's hot enough, and I've managed not to burn it. So, now for breakfast, and then see what the outside world is like. Having a look at our camp this morning, we're beside the Alt Garve, which was our water supply for the night, and which you can see down here, and there's the bridge taking the estate track over it, which here is also the Affric Kintail Way. And we're on this little bit of flat grass just below the estate track, and there's Tony's dog Bella, who obviously isn't sure either who I am or what I'm doing. She is getting used to trips like this, and there's Tony. Morning, Tony. And in the distance there, you can see the footpath sign. The footpath sign to go over to Coogee, which we'll be taking for a short way and then heading up into the hills. And at the moment, there's cloud down on the tops, but there's some blue sky up there. Hopefully the sky will clear a bit, but we're going up to just over 800 meters. Maybe the cloud will be higher than that, but I think it's getting time to start packing up and heading off. This is Tony and Bella on the climb up from the Algarve. The sun is out now. It was cloudy earlier, there's no wind, so it's really quite a pleasant day. We've camped earlier than planned. As the tops were in cloud, we decided to continue up the glen of the Algarve to the col at its head and see if there was a campsite there which would be below the cloud. However, as we're heading up the glen, Tony spotted this huge grassy area down by the river where it meanders, and we thought it was too good a spot to miss, because higher up we might find nowhere, and I certainly wouldn't have been popular if I'd insisted, no, we go on, we'll find somewhere. But also must admit, I've got a slightly sore leg, so stopping early is a good idea, and we'll see what we do tomorrow. Whether we go up one of the summits or not, a lot will depend on the weather. But for the moment, this is a lovely grassy area. It's completely calm. It's overcast, unfortunately, but we should have a comfortable night here. There are deer around. We saw and heard them on the hillside earlier. Maybe we'll hear stags roaring tonight, but and that's the view the other way for our camp. Gosh, must be getting cold. Tony's putting his down jacket on.
It's not really that cold.
No, it isn't.
And I thought, well, I'm just going to put it on for a minute.
And an optimistic solar panel as well he's put out.
Well, we'll see how much we get in the power bank.
Yes.
Very optimistic.
And that's looking back down the glen. Well, having made an early camp, we've spent the rest of the afternoon and early evening sitting outside because it's a pleasant time. It's quite calm. It's overcast, there's no sunshine, and it's just beginning to get nippy now, but we've got only about an hour of daylight left, so moving into the tent soon, I think. But sitting out here on the grass, listening to stags roaring up the hillside over there, drinking coffee or tea in Tony's case, has made for a pleasant, relaxing time. And tomorrow we're hoping to cut up the side of the hill over there, get to the second Corbett of the two we were going to go up, and then descend down to back into Glen Affric and camp for the third night before walking out the next day. But we're hoping the cloud will at least have lifted enough that we won't be walking in it when we're high up tomorrow. But this is a pleasant camp anyway. And now I think to make some more coffee. Dawn, 10 to 8, it's getting light and there's colour in the sky. So hopefully today is going to be less cloudy than yesterday. And in the distance you can hear the stags roaring, which they've been doing all night, or at least the few times I woke up, turned over and heard them. Anyway, now it's time for first cup of coffee. It's 10 to 9, quite light now. The red dawn has gone. There are thin clouds, which hopefully will stay above the tops. It's still calm. The pressure has dropped a little overnight, but the weather is supposed to be changing tomorrow. We'll have a lower camp tonight, so that if it does get windy, we should be relatively sheltered. I've already had first cup of coffee, and I must say, on a friend's recommendation, thank you Mark, I've been trying these Taylor's hot lava Java coffee bags, and they're very good and also pretty strong, which is what you want first thing in the morning. I shall have another one fairly soon when I've had some of my breakfast, which is oatcakes and, when I can find it, Primula cheese spread. And then it will be time to get out of the sleeping bag and venture outside and go and say hello to Tony and Bella, and then we'll be packing up and hopefully heading off in an hour or so up the hills and continuing to listen to the stags, which are roaring away not far away. Anyway, and now for breakfast. Camp in the morning. See, the sun is on the hillside, but it hasn't reached us yet because of this big hill here, which is shadowing the glen. And then some clouds down that way. There's no wind again, but then the blue sky and the sun, we are going up there, so it's the way we're going. And hopefully the climb now won't be too hot, but better than in the mist. And I see Tony is rolling up his mat, so I better get packing. I think he's going to be ready before I am. So time to stop filming and start doing something. Tony and Bella heading up to the ridge for the hill we're aiming for. We're taking more of a direct line than going up to the col, which is shorter but steeper, and the ground is very rough and tussocky, If you swing round, that's the ridge we would have come along, and the coal is in that V there. And back to Tony, and we'll be up there, hopefully fairly soon. This is Tony heading up the last steep section to the ridge and the col. I think from where he is, there's about 100 metres of ascent to go, and the col is at 706 metres. And what we'll do when we get there, we'll find out when we see what the weather's like and how we're feeling. This is the view we've been looking at while chatting and having lunch. There's Loch Affric down there, and across to the Affric Munros, with the highest ones in cloud, and round to the hillside where we hope the path is that we'll be going down, and then back to our packs and chairs, which we're now going to put away. And this is the view from the edge of the steep descent back down to Loch Affric. You can see a bit of the path there, not far below us. And then there's Tony looking down at it. As we follow this intricate, beautifully designed path winding back and forth down the hillside, heading for back to Glen Affric and Loch Affric, and the sun has come out and the mountains have cleared, and there's the path with Tony in the distance and my shadow. After descending into Glen Affric, we've ended up on the same campsite as 2 nights ago. We did hope to camp somewhere else, but between where we came down and here, there was nowhere suitable that we could access. The loch shore is fenced off. We could have gone the other way up the glen and easily found somewhere to camp, but that's the wrong direction, and we want to get an early start and walk out by lunchtime tomorrow. So we came this way, so we're back on this site, which is very comfortable. At the end of the day, of course, we're quite hot with all the sun suddenly blazing down, and the autumn colours were just spectacular. So that, as far as the landscape goes, has been the best part of the trip. I was very impressed with that path down as well. It's so cleverly designed to follow the contours, to take the easiest way up a very, very complicated hillside. The bottom of it was pretty muddy though. I mean, our feet were already wet. It just meant they got cold as well. Mine are now warming up in the sleeping bag in a pair of dry socks. I've had my soup, of course, and I'm shortly going to have some soba noodles with chilli, which has become one of my favourites in recent years. In fact, I should get the water going for that now. There's the stove lit. Now to get the pan on. The weather has changed. It's raining steadily. The rain woke me at 10 to 7, so I'm guessing that's when it started. Looking at the recordings on the Kestrel, I can see the pressure has dropped 12 millibars since yesterday evening and 18 millibars since yesterday morning. So the high pressure has gone and low pressure has come in. And looking at the temperature, which at the moment the temperature is, you probably can't see it, but 9 degrees. At 1:30 in the morning it was 1 degree. By 2:30 in the morning it was 4 degrees. So that's when the change really happened. And then after 2:30 it gradually goes up until when I woke up it was 8 degrees. Now it's 9. There's no wind in here. Outside there's no wind coming under the fly sheet at all. It's completely calm. So it feels cozy but damp, because of course the DuoMid that I'm using was soaked with dew and condensation when I packed it yesterday. So it was wet when I put it up, and it's wet now, but no wetter than it was. And of course it's big and roomy, so I've no need to touch the walls. But soon it'll be time to pack up, get the waterproofs out, probably just the jacket as there's no wind, put on the wet socks, always the worst part of the day I think. And then we've got a fairly short walk out to the car. So yesterday evening's burst of sunshine really was the highlight of the trip. And now we've just got a walk through the woods in the rain and it'll be over. And this is probably the last little video for this trip, because I'm not going to be making one, I don't think, outside in the rain. I don't think my equipment is up to that. So in that case I'll say I hope you've enjoyed this little video of this trip with Tony, and do take a look at Tony's videos when they appear. Thank you.